When I walk into the North Carolina Museum of Art, a lot of times the pieces will catch your eye and you walk up to it and you start to question yourself, how in the world did they do that? A lot of times I find myself looking at the label to see what kind of mediums they used, looking at the different brush strokes that they've done, or even seeing how the artwork was created and how that affects maybe the movements of the artist when they were making those artworks. So for example, if like an artist is using a paint on a very large canvas and they're slashing it down the canvas, how would their body look in that moment? And how could that be something that I mimic at home? I love to try different mixed media materials, and one of my favorite things to do is playing around with printmaking materials. So let's try doing that in a studio setting and playing around with different materials and seeing where they take us. What we're going to do is we're going to be using printmaking ink to start, and I like to put them on surfaces to kind of mix them together. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll your brayer in it. Keep rolling it back and forth until you're coating your wheel. So once you have it fully coated, you can come onto your jelly print and roll out some of your ink. So this is where you can really play around. You can use the back of a paintbrush and do little designs in it. I like to rip papers to kind of get weird funky edges to put down. But the fun thing about printmaking is you are playing around with things, so the things you put down are going to show very differently. So once you've laid a bunch of stuff down, kind of played around, you're going to then lay down your paper, use your baren, you're going to rub. So then you're going to pull your print. So this one didn't do exactly like I expected, but it's something I would definitely hold on to because you can always use the ones that don't work out, cut them, glue and paste, do collages, or even draw on top of these weird shapes to create a different piece of art. So what we're gonna do from here is look at the different prints we've made and kind of make artistic decisions with the processes that came out. So one example of that is I really like this one. I was able to get this kind of pattern by using a produce mesh bag. And whereas something like this, we have more of a leaf in it, and that's from like the natural materials. So we can also do things like I was using tape and a leaf to also print on it, and that's something that you can continue to make artistic choices about. What I'm gonna do is take this one and use some pens, some ink, some pencils and draw on it, or maybe even add some more elements on it as well. So I really like to use pencils. Colors are also cool to pop in, so like this is all blue-green to keep it monochromatic. I might come in with some green. Maybe I just want to take some actual acrylics and just put a glob of paint on it. Another cool thing you can play around with is inks. They're really fun because they also kind of take on this watery. I can go outside the perimeter of the square of my jelly plate and play in these spaces. Another great thing that you could do with printmaking is these prints that you like, set them aside. The prints that you don't, I love to literally just see where that goes. And then I can take these kinds of things and do collage work on top of other prints or even add them into other artworks that I'm doing. The artwork you make doesn't necessarily have to be something that is completely serious all the time. A lot of things are done by artists that start out as an experiment and turn into something that leads them on a path. So when you look at art in the art museum, ask yourself how the artist did that and then think about how you could use that process to influence what you're making.